Hi again. I want to talk a little bit more about working with Google Docs and also point you to some resources that I think will be helpful in working with the program. The Google Drive Help Center is Google's resource for its users, and you'll find information on the Google Drive as well as the different apps, including Google Docs and how to use that. This Educator's Guide to Google Docs is a slideshare presentation, and here you can click through the slideshow and get tips on using the program in the classroom. And then this last tutorial is nice because it has been updated to 2013, and a lot of times I found that with the tutorials that you can find online, the different versions of Google Docs will appear. You might get a 2011 version, a 2012 version, so it's nice to see the most recent version there, and you can find different videos associated with this tutorial if you scroll down the page. We can go back to the place where we left off with the last video, which is that we had created a Google account and gone to the Google Drive. Here in the Drive we have our different documents, and we can create a new document by clicking on Create and then choosing Document, and that will give us a blank document to work with. The other option is to upload a document that we have already created offline. We can choose this arrow and then choose Files to upload a file, so a single document can be uploaded this way. You can also use Folder if you want to upload an entire folder of documents. This is useful for archiving, especially if you're going to be traveling or just have documents you want to be accessed in whatever location you might be. The important thing to understand with folders is that to upload a whole folder, you need to be working with Google Chrome as your web browser. So once we've created a document, we'll have in the upper corner here we see Untitled Document, and we can click on this, and then we'll get the option to rename that document, and we can name it whatever we wish. You'll see that there are other features here in terms of formatting that are fairly intuitive, so I won't go into many of the details there. You can hide this menu if you wish by clicking on this chevron, also make it reappear by clicking on it again. You'll also see up in the corner here where comments will go if you have comments that you enable on your document, and you can also modify your sharing options. The File menu also enables you to do things like modify sharing options, open a new document, or create one from scratch. You can also make a copy of a document. So if you have an existing document that you want to be able to work from without starting from the beginning, you can choose Make a Copy and then give that document a different name. And that way, a lot of times we have a handout we're working with in class, for instance, that we want to be able to modify without starting from scratch. So we can make a copy of the document and then begin there to make our modifications while still retaining the original. You can also modify your sharing features, again, by clicking here or clicking over here in the File menu. The default is private access, so that only the user can access the document, even with the link that is given here. If you select Change, we can then make that document available to others. I think the best option for our classes is the middle one here, that the document is available to anyone who has the link. So that's a link that we can then email to our students or post on Blackboard. The nice thing is that there's no sign-in required to access that document, so even students without a Google account can view it and can even edit it. And again, you can decide, do you want people to be able to view a document, say a handout that you are giving out in class, but that you don't want people to edit? You can also give people a chance to comment on a document, maybe have them comment on a handout or a reading or another student's paper, but not be able to edit it. And then you can also give people the option to edit a document, and this is what we would want to use for collaborative writing. And then you can see the different users that are accessing a document in this corner. If the user is not logged into Google, then he or she will show up as anonymous, but they will still show up. And then if you want to look at the different versions of a document, you can go to File and select See Revision History, at which point you will get a listing of all the different iterations of that draft that you were looking at. You can revert to a previous version if you wish, And if there are multiple users, you'll be able to see each of the contributions that different users have made on that document. So that can be really helpful. So we will also talk more about how this works when we look at the next video about using this in the classroom.